Hey kids, welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0 here on July 24th. We're recording on the 21st, but we're getting you all set up here with some music news and reviews. We've got a new album and a couple of concerts that we're talking about. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
I'm the Maestro Kevin Crane.
And we're going to get started with reviewing Exit Wounds, the new Wallflowers.
Yeah, I'll take the hit on this. I've been pushing this off probably a week or two longer than I should have. I needed to listen to this album 4 or 5 times to really get a feel for it, and I just haven't had the time. You and I have both been busy.
A lot going on.
We'll get to here in a second. I like the Wallflowers a lot. I think Jakob Dylan is 15 times, 20 times, 5,000 times more talented than his father.
Oh, by a landslide, I agree. His dad couldn't sing to save his life.
Right.
Still can't.
Right. Jakob Dylan's got a much better voice. He's got the songwriting chops of his father. Their second album, Bringing Down the Horse, is still a classic to this day.
Very good.
But that being said, that was a high bar to set for any band. And I think he's been chasing that high bar ever since.
Yes. And isn't this kind of the Wallflowers more as a solo endeavor?
Yeah, basically the Wallflowers are Jakob Dylan and whoever he decides to bring in.
Yeah.
And I think, from what I can tell from your tone, you and I are on the same wavelength, is that that's not necessarily a good thing.
No. As we mentioned, he definitely sings Rings Around His Father, but he's starting to get that Dylan whine a little bit more.
But not only that, but he's, as he gets older, and it's not just the Dylan thing, it's musical artists in general, they seem to get older like we do, but they lose that adrenaline rush. They lose that urge to rock. There's that, the edge is gone in their music.
The morose of life tends to creep in more than they want.
It weighs them down.
Yes.
And I think you feel a lot of that on Exit Wounds.
It's very mellow.
Little countryish. Little
bit here and there.
I really was, I don't want to say I was disappointed, because I think in terms of songwriting, this album is solid. I think
I agree.
The lyrics are good.
The lyrics are great.
Yes, he does have, again, his dad's knack for turning a nice phrase in a song. I will call out, and this is going to make me sound like a terrible human being, but you already know I am. So no surprise there. Shelby Lynn sings harmonies on 4 of the 10 songs on this album, and she destroys at least 2 of the songs for me. She destroys Darling Hold On.
That is the one song that I disliked the most on this album.
Yeah. Dave and I are usually simpatico when it comes to music, and she the first song on the album is Maybe Your Heart's Not In It No More, which is a great song. If you take it for what it is, it's a great song. She sounds like she's trying to sing it completely differently in the background than how Jakob Dylan's trying to sing it.
Yes, she's opposite.
She destroys
of what
the
he's
song.
Trying to do.
She destroys the song. I'm like, is this something because of COVID? Were they recording this in 2 separate studios and they tried to put it together?
And
because
failed.
She sounds like she's trying to sing it completely differently than Jakob Dylan. And it's a great, great song, but she destroys it.
Yeah.
Or whoever mixed it destroys
Failed miserably.
Right.
The producer did not do his job or her job on this one.
Right. And then, like we talked about, then you get a break, and that's when the album kind of takes off.
For the next couple.
Roots and Wings, and I Hear the Ocean, and the Dive Bar in My Heart.
Dive Bar in My Heart is my favorite on this one.
Right. Great, great songs. That's when I was like, okay, maybe
it's picking up. I
maybe
kind of
we
like
can save this
one.
album. Maybe we, and then again, 5, 6, and 7. Darling, hold on, move the river, and I'll let you down, but will not give you up. Shelby Lynn comes back in again, and she destroys at least
it all.
the first one. Gets a little better with I'll let you down, but will not give you up. She doesn't destroy that one. That one I can kind of see.
It's a little better, but still it's not where the rest of it is.
Right.
And I don't think it's solid again until you get to Who's That Man Walking Around My Garden.
See, I like Roots and Wings, but Who's That Man Walking Around My Garden is, you get that final
get that kick where
the Wallflowers are back to rocking where they were on Bringing Down the Horse.
Yes.
And yeah, those two songs are the standouts, and obviously those are the two that they released first. Obviously, because they're the best songs.
Those are the best ones on there.
If you could have taken the Shelby Lynn duets out
and maybe just had him do them solo,
just done a straightforward Wallflowers album, I might have given it a better rating, but I'm going to give it a very weak 2.5 Frenzies.
That's right where I'm at on this one as well.
I do appreciate the songwriting skills. Like Wrong End of the Spear is a great song. Like you said, Who's That Man Walking Around My Garden is just awesome.
It's got that rockin' beat that you were waiting for, but it's so late in the album.
Right. It feels like a last ditch, last gasp, Hail Mary.
Yeah, that should have been what they led with.
Right.
To get you into it.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to sound like a misogynist. If I want a Wallflowers album, I want to hear Jacob Dylan singing. I don't want to hear an overbearing, I'm talking about in the mix, an overbearing female voice singing over him or competing with his voice. That's not a Wallflowers album.
Or going opposite of what he's doing.
And it just destroys the whole vibe. It's not a Wallflowers album at that point.
Right.
It's just not. So 2.5 for me.
2.5 for me as well.
Now it's time to talk some concerts.
Good stuff here.
But how often do we do this where
we have separate concerts?
Usually the Conquistador and the Maestro are together at concerts. Like last week at Jimmy Buffett. Now we've got separate ones.
Separate. And
I'm going to let you go.
So freaking diverse. I should have made you go with me to this one. This would have been retribution for you dragging me to Dave effing Matthews 2 years ago.
Dave saw Korn and
Chevelle. My God. This was the day one of Upheaval, which was a festival up in Grand Rapids outside, and holy cow. For day one, the one band I wanted to see, Avatar, had to pull out a couple days before the show because they couldn't get back into the United States coming from overseas. So we got Pop Evil on 3 days' notice.
They're not bad.
Pop Evil, oh my God, I wanted to see them. So
did not know you guys got them. That's
an upgrade. That was an upgrade. I was happy to see Pop Evil, even though I was so intent on seeing Avatar.
Okay.
But they had 2 stages. So we didn't go up the frickin' mountain. It was a huge ass hill to the second stage. We wound up splurging on the VIP area, separated, so there weren't as many people getting around the stage. So we were in a pretty good spot for the day. And we didn't want to make the trek up the hill, so we focused on Deadlight Holiday to start off the day. And they're very Green Day-esque and were enjoyable. Really liked them. Followed by Joyous Wolf. Out of California, they were musically okay, but the lead singer was that pompous, arrogant, entitled California Millennial Prick. And he just exuded that whole, it's all about me, always the raise your hands, clap, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck you, buddy.
Nobody
I
likes
will
that.
clap.
Nobody
I will
likes
do it
the
when
generic.
I want.
That's why I've never seen Ozzy Osbourne, and that's one of the all-time greats that I'm not sad about seeing, is because that's all he does.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, clap your fucking hands.
Now, I will give him props for being the acrobat, doing the flips and different things on stage. And at one point, they had the stage and then they had the walkout coming towards the crowd. And he was out there in the rain, because it was raining at that point, light mist. And he's like, if you're going to be out in this, I'm going to be out in this. I was okay with that. But then he kind of does the whole thing where kind of move. And so jumps off the stage, which is about 6 feet in the air, clears about a 4-foot section over the fence into the VIP area, does his little roll, gets up, jumps the fence separating the VIP from the rest, runs through the crowd, jumps it again, and hops back up on the stage. So I will give him props for the acrobatics and having the balls to go out into this crowd. So they were decent, not my favorite of the day. Then we wound up getting Pop Evil, like I said, on 3 days' notice.
Right.
They were solid. I heard people who'd seen them before saying it was not their best performance. But I can see that. I give them a pass coming in last minute trying to get set up. And they're from Southwest Michigan, so it was just like a half-hour ride in for them to get to the show. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, though. I'm glad I finally got to see him. Next up was Chevelle. Oh my God, they freaking killed it. Absolutely phenomenal show by the two brothers and the guys that they got in with them. You talk about intense. That's a heavy metal show, and you look at these guys and you would not think that's coming from them. The bass was so much, you could feel it hitting you, and it set your phone thinking that you were driving because of the motion from it. But it was great. That's when the crowd surfers started. And everybody's funneling them in right towards the front of the stage to security, who were not very, shall we say, cordial in dragging them off the crowd and slamming them on the fence and onto the ground and taking them away. It was almost worth it just to watch that stuff. And then Korn, it's what you would expect from Korn. Absolutely loved it that we got Freak on a Leash. That was phenomenal live. And at that point, Mrs. C and I, her hip was bothering her, and we didn't want to be in the masses where we were. So we kind of backed out. And for good reason, the way things were going with that one. It got crazy up there. So, no, they were phenomenal. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think what we had fun most, though, was watching all the people and the dress code, the vast difference. Yet most of the people were like us, T-shirt, shorts, enjoying. Then you had the folks who looked like they were dressed up to go out on a great night on the town. And then you had your S&M dominatrixes out there with their little skimpy leather outfits, their masks, wearing the choker collars with their leashes and riding crops. It was definitely a wide mix on this crowd. What you would expect from a heavy metal show like this.
Oh, plus this was the first time they were able to get out in 16, 18 months.
Yes. So it was enjoyable. I would definitely go back up for Upheaval again to see it. So I will give this one a 3.
Cool. Yeah, it's I'll get into my review in a second, but it's tricky to rate a multiple band concert.
It is. It's tough to
And
do.
especially now that you dropped it on me that you saw Pop Evil, see, that makes it a little bit more appealing to me because I've seen them before. And the time I saw them, they were the first act on a triple bill with Cheap Trick and Poison. And they were really good. And the lead singer came all the way back at Ruoff.
Oh, nice.
Into the seats to the point where he was almost back in the lawn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was about 20 feet away from us.
He is a great front man.
Right.
He's very engaging. He's not pompous. He's just Mr. Man of the people.
Right. Yeah, and their music's not bad. I did end up buying their album on that tour.
Yeah.
So I do have one of their albums floating around in my archives somewhere. Yeah, can I admit that I haven't listened to it? Probably since that concert or a couple weeks after that concert.
I will say I thoroughly enjoyed this one, and I know you would not have enjoyed this one.
That's why you didn't invite me, and I trust your judgment. I always will. And more people than not probably would have taken offense if their best friend had not invited them to a show or a concert. I knew exactly what the Conquistador was thinking when he said, on this one, you need to take a pass, Maestro. And he's absolutely 110% right. Now, the problem with the whole weekend was because now we were supposed to see Guns N' Roses Sunday.
Right.
This past Sunday. Again, as he mentioned, we're taping this on the 21st, airing.
Originally, when we bought all the tickets.
This airs on the 22nd, but we were supposed to see Guns N' Roses this past Sunday.
Right.
And so when we were planning all our concerts out, the Conquistador had the Friday night show, and I had a Saturday night show that I tried to get him to go to. And he said, I just can't pull it off because at the time,
I don't want to do 3 nights in a row.
We thought driving. We were looking at 3 concerts in a row. Now, Guns N' Roses did end up getting postponed, which worked out fantastically because then we've got Mammoth WVH opening for them in September.
Yes.
So this is why we didn't end up going to the same concert. The protege and I, my daughter, ended up going Saturday night out to Fort Wayne to Pierre's to see Wheatus, Hoobastank, Living Colour, and Everclear. Very bizarre concert.
That's an odd lineup.
I'll tell you this. The venue, the protege doesn't give you any help. She doesn't give you any she'd been to the place before. Yet she pulled her typical, I don't remember it. I don't know what it's like. I don't know where it is. So I didn't know what to expect. As I am the maestro, I expect the worst. So I'm thinking this is going to be a sludge pit, hole in the wall, type of place that's going to be nasty, awful, terrible. She tells me she's got the iPhone going while I'm driving. She tells me, turn in here. And I'm like, this doesn't look right. She says, yes, it is. Turn in here. It's the most beautiful strip mall you've ever seen in your life. It's like gorgeous wood. I mean, it's clean. It's neat. The big parking lot. And at the very far end is Pierre's. And it was a nice, beautiful venue. If you've ever been to Grand Rapids to go seeing a show at 20 Monroe Live, it was like a little bit smaller version of that. Very nice, very, very beautiful, clean venue. So I will approve. I will recommend it.
There you go.
People, of course, always ruin everything. So
well, yeah, that's
we'll get to that in a second. But we got there just in time for the opening act, Wheatus, who I was expecting nothing. I was expecting nothing from this band. I had not listened to them going in ahead of time. I frankly didn't care. They were kind of fun. I kind of liked them.
Really?
Yeah, two drummers, male, female, two drummers,
Ooh.
two female background singers, bassist, keyboard player, and then the lead guy sang and played lead guitar. He was kind of a doofus, but in a good way. In a good way.
Okay.
So we just ended up actually being better than I thought. So they played for half an hour. Granted, take this in mind. This show started at 6 at night. Very early. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, We Just goes half an hour. Hoobastank goes maybe 45 or an hour. Living Colour goes at least an hour. Everclear goes over an hour, right?
Right. You would think hour and a half for Everclear.
Hoobastank comes on. So We Just goes from 6 to 6:30. Hoobastank comes on at 6:50. Hoobastank, who I can't stand.
That was primarily why I did not want to go.
And of course, the protege says, "Well, I didn't realize they were not the same band as the one that played The Distance or The Reason." What is the song? Their big hit, The Reason. The slow song. They have the slow song. It's The Reason. I don't know why I keep thinking it's The Distance, but it's The Reason. But everything else they do is this hard, nasty kind of stupid rap rock that, just doesn't appeal to me. And of course, like you were saying earlier, it's the lead singer, all he cares about is going, "Oh, you guys gotta yell, you guys gotta make noise, you gotta clap your hands and say fuck yeah." Okay, dude, we get it. All right, we get it.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
So they play for 40 minutes. So they're done at 7:30. And I'm thinking, okay, now's the fun time. Now Living Colour's coming. Living Colour's coming. I was telling my daughter, I was telling the protege, here we go. Now rock and roll fun time begins. So at 10 till 8, the boys come out.
Nice.
And I'm like, let's do it. Let's go.
Glover and Company.
Yes. And they were in rare form. They were so unbelievably awesome.
Excellent.
They started out with Type, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Living Colour songs. My daughter looked at me and said, "This is what you wanted, right?" She knew I loved that song. So yeah, I'm like, yep. It was a sludgy kind of version. Yeah. I think they were still trying to get, into the groove. I don't know if it was the sound. I don't know if it was them. Then they came in with Desperate People. And that was the best song of the night. Desperate People. Oh, they tore it apart. They ripped it to shreds. Vernon Reid, we were on the side with Vernon Reid. Not the bass player, but we were on the... So Vernon Reid was literally 20 feet away from us.
Oh, dude.
And he was unbelievable. Corey Glover had his orange hair, cornrows up, orange hair.
Yes.
My daughter loved it. She took pictures. She was getting into it. She knew she was in the presence of rock and roll greatness. Now is where things get shitty.
No.
I've told you, Dave, we have gone to how many dozens upon almost 100 probably. We have gone to so many concerts together.
Yes.
I'm a magnet for idiots. I'm a magnet for the douchebags of the world.
You are a flypaper for freaks.
Out of the entire place, 1,000 people in the place, they start playing Open Letter to a Landlord.
Great freaking song.
The guy right in front of me has to put his girlfriend up on his shoulders. Right in front of me. The only guy in the goddamn place.
You don't do that. There's concert etiquette involved, people.
It has to be in front of me. Has to be right in front of me. So I have to try to move around. So I finally find a way. I stand behind the protege so I can see over her. So she's got her good line of sight. Right. So we're okay now. So they finish up that and they start playing Time's Up. And they tore it up. They were unbelievable. Then she's got two guys moving next to her. And the one guy next to her starts throwing his elbow. He's like, oh, oh, he's trying to throw his elbow like
you don't do that at a Living Colour concert.
He's coming within like an inch of hitting my daughter in the face.
And that's
point. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't get in a fight with this guy. I don't have the conquistador with me. But Cassidy won't move.
She had this woman come in with her boyfriend, and they were, and they started to fall back into Mrs. C. And I pushed them away, not as hard as I should have.
But you had backup. You had Jamie at least there to back you up. I had no backup. No,
Jamie and his wife were up closer during Chevelle. We stayed back, and they were drunk off their asses anyway. But I pushed them, and they're like, oh, so sorry. And then they eventually moved a little bit. But I know what you're talking about. I was ready to beat.
Well, here's the best part. Okay, well,
so I would have grabbed the guy's elbow.
If you and I had been together,
we would have grabbed the guy's elbow.
But I had 2-on-1. I didn't want to get into it, and plus my daughter won't move. She's like, "This is my spot. I'm not moving." I'm like, "No, he's going to break your cheekbone."
And at that point, you have to actually stop.
Yeah. So we got through the whole concert. Living Colour, phenomenal. Here's the catch. 40 minutes, 7 songs. That's all we got. That's all we got was 40 minutes, 7 songs.
That's crap.
That's all we got. That's like when we saw them open for Aerosmith. So we got done with that. Cassidy.
Did you at least get Glamour Boys?
No Glamour Boys.
Oh, no. Come on.
No, the set list was different. They did have a good set list, but 7 songs. Again, what are you going to do?
Oh.
So then Everclear comes on. And at this point, I'm looking at this going, it's 9 o'clock and we're already on the headliner.
What the frick?
You only let Living Colour play for 40 minutes. The
That's
greatest.
Cool.
Art Alexakis, the lead singer of Everclear, admitted at least twice during the show. He came out early. He came out before Everclear played, and it admitted Living Colour is the greatest fucking band in America.
Damn, I'm like, straight.
Yeah, we all know that. So why'd you let it play more than 40 minutes? So Everclear comes on, and Art is looking old. I saw him open with his band for Matchbox 20 back about 20 years ago. Lifehouse, Everclear, Matchbox 20. Everclear blew the doors out in a basketball arena down in Florida with probably 12, 15,000 people. They had no energy, no life.
Nothing.
And again, Cassidy, the protege, heard him say at one point, because she wasn't feeling good. She was like, Dad, I want to get out of here. I'm like, all right. I wanted to hear Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But she wasn't feeling good. We stayed for half an hour, and she heard them say, we're done after 2 songs. We got 2 more, and we're done. So it's basically 30, 30, or 30, 40, 40, 40. So everybody got to play almost the same amount. The 2 headliners were going to play as much as Hoobastank.
Screw that crap. I'm glad I did not go.
$20 tickets. I will not regret the fact that I got to see Living Colour and got to see them that close. 20 feet away from Corey Glover, 20 feet away from Vernon Reid. They were awesome. They tore it up. I would give them 4 frenzies, if not for the short list,
right?
The short set list.
Overall,
otherwise, 2 frenzies.
Oof.
2.
Oof.
If it wasn't for Living Colour, I would never have tolerated that. Never. So.
All right.
We got some more music news coming up in the next segment, along with some streaming news.
Movies.
Dumbasses.
And it's
lots of moments of silence. Oh, my God.
Way too many. So stay tuned, kids. We'll be right back.
Listen to Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition, on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox, as the Maestro and Conquistador give their reviews and news on music, movies, TV, books, and more every Saturday. They can't help themselves. They have no control over this need to talk and scream. It's inside them. The fire, the voices, the torment.
Hey kids, welcome back to Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
Taping here on the 21st of July. This will hit on the 24th. We went through all our concert reviews last segment. I feel drained. I feel just like I'm waiting for another concert, which we'll have in 2 weeks.
Yes, end of the month.
Yes. So, other music news to get us through. I feel bad for the Foo Fighters. The Foo Fighters were trying to set up a big, massive comeback concert for Los Angeles at the Forum. They were going to reopen the Forum.
Yeah, until mask mandates hit.
Well, until one of their team members tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
So they had to postpone their July 17th show. Of course, California is just a freaking mess.
Yes, it is.
So,
but what's new?
You get what you deserve with California.
When is the earthquake gonna hit and split?
I want to know when the farmers and the people in the rural areas in East California are going to finally get their way and say, we want a way. We don't want to be with San Francisco. We don't want to be with Los Angeles. Split it up.
There you go.
West California, East California. We are going to see Judas Priest.
Yes, we are.
In September. They have announced they are putting out a 42 CD 50th anniversary set.
And holy crap, who'd have thunk they had that much music?
Well, yeah, every studio album will be included, plus a whole bunch of live albums never before released.
Good Lord.
Replica programs. I mean,
this is like the be all end all package for a music fan.
Yeah, it's $300-$400. I'm not buying it, but
not gonna happen. But good for them.
It's coming out October the 15th. There will be a 1 CD version where they somehow figured out how to distill 42 CDs down into one, figuring out which tracks they could put on here that
epitomize
the diehard
everything.
Fans like me would not have. So I'll probably pick up the 1 CD set. Iron Maiden, we talked about this. They were teasing it. Finally, new album coming out September the 3rd. Senjutsu.
Bless you.
But of course, their iconic figure, Eddie, is on the cover dressed like a samurai with a sword.
Oh my God. That's going to be awesome.
First single is out, Writing on the Wall. So
maybe we'll get to see him next year?
Yeah, and we probably will have to suck it up and do the whole digital ticket thing.
And you know what? If we have to, we have to.
We have to. Yes, we have to.
They're a bucket list band.
Yes. Pre-show discussion. Sebastian Bach is going out on the road. 30th anniversary tour 4, Slave to the Grind, one of the greatest hard rock albums of all time. I am trying to convince the Conquistador to go.
I'm in.
We have a shot to go see him up in Grand Rapids. It's midweek. That sucks, but we should do it.
We should do it. I'm in. Love the album.
Monkey Business. Oh, God.
So good. That album was probably having... I don't know if you've gotten there, the discussion on that part in the book, Nothing But a Good Time.
No.
Then I will digress from here and not discuss anything further.
Dave is referring to one of the greatest books of the last couple decades, Nothing But a Good Time. We've talked about this early on in our Sports Frenzy podcast. He has finished it. I have not, because I am working on the new Philip Marlowe, which Liam Neeson is supposedly going to take part of.
Yes. So
the Black-Eyed Blonde. So I apologize. I will try to catch up.
Yes, nothing but a good time. The, shall we say, definitive history of 80s hair metal.
Yes. Yes. And it's great. I mean, I'm halfway through. They get everybody they possibly can involved.
Yeah.
Michael Anthony, everybody from Van Halen to Cinderella to
Poison.
And we'll talk about
Guns
Cinderella here in a little bit, unfortunately.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we will give you the full recap once we're done.
Yep.
Good stuff, though, kids.
But yes, definitely down with Sebastian Bach. Definitely hoping for Iron Maiden.
Yes.
We'll suck it up this time, as opposed to the last time where we were...
Principalities were involved where we were not going to be denied a ticket.
We were playing the old man card on those, where we were like, nope. Iron Maiden was one of the first bands that we'd ever dealt with where they said no
physical ticket.
Right. Only digital. And we said, screw you. Nope. Not going to do it.
Well, we screwed ourselves.
Yes, we did. So, one of my favorite bands, Tremonti. I was worried I wasn't going to have a lot to look forward to after Night Ranger here coming up in early August. Tremonti is coming out with Marching in Time on September the 24th. Mark Tremonti, of course, is the guitarist for Alter Bridge. His band, he sings and plays lead guitar. This will be their 5th album. He is awesome. The band is awesome. If they go out on tour, I'm there.
There you go.
They're fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, moving on to TV and streaming. Here are some things that maybe I might surprise the Conquistador with.
What?
Some little nuggets of news.
You can try.
Army of Thieves. The prequel to Army of the Dead is coming soon to Netflix with Ludwig Dieter.
Yes, the boys and I have been talking about this one. It's Dieter's origin story.
Yes.
We are so looking forward to this
Zack
one.
Snyder is producing, not directing, but I think this could be fantastic.
This is going to be fun. Dieter was great.
He was, if not the best, one of the best characters in Army of the Dead. I have told you people how much I love this. I don't care what you think. I loved it.
It was a fun thrill ride, and Dieter
was great. Dieter was great. I'm looking forward to this. Army of Thieves coming soon to Netflix.
It's going to be great.
Now, of course.
And we'll give you a recap on it.
I, being the Law and Order fanatic that I am.
No.
I mentioned this about a month ago. Law and Order for the Defense has been scrapped by NBC.
Yes, it has.
So you will not get your Law and Order Thursday.
Unlike your Chicago Wednesday.
Right. So they're going to have to figure something else out. I didn't realize they almost put forth a Law and Order Hate Crimes.
Oh, come on!
Seriously, that was the one they had in the works before this. Now, I could have seen Law and Order for the Defense working. I mean, that could have been interesting to see the defense attorneys.
Yeah.
You know.
Because it would take place in New York, where they have law, and they have order.
Shut up! God! Kids, you got to remember, this is a guy who hates he has never watched a single Law and Order episode in his life.
Yes, I have. I'm referring to the nice little tidbits from Resident Alien.
Which we are looking forward to next year.
Season 2.
Yes, probably next year. All right. I don't know how you're going to feel about this. USA and Sci-Fi starting October the 12th. A TV series, Chucky. Chucky from Child's Play gets his own series.
I saw that and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Just let it die in the movies. We don't need a stupid ass TV series based on this. Some things should just be left the frick alone.
I actually think this could be better as a TV series. I've never watched any of the Chucky movies. I never have. I don't have any desire to watch them. They look like they would insult my intelligence beyond all belief.
The first one was decent. Everything else should have just been left alone. Again, it's Hollywood getting stupid. You need to...
I've left the Conquistador speechless, so I will move on to something else that will frustrate and confuse him. I canceled my Peacock subscription yesterday, but before I did watch WWE Money in the Bank.
Of course you did.
2 titles changed hands.
So you got rid of it before John Cena is going to be at SummerSlam?
I can re-sign up for SummerSlam. I get that 4-week period, I hate John Cena, by the way. I fucking hate him. Yeah, when he came on at the end of this, acting like he's going to be all that, challenging Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a badass. He is literally the best wrestler I've ever seen since Randy Macho Man Savage.
Wow.
Roman Reigns is a badass. I want him to have the belt forever. John Cena with his orange or his yellow and green shit. I mean, come on, dude. What are you, key lime pie, or are you a fucking wrestler? What the hell does the 3 mean? He has to throw his 3 fingers up.
Has he won the title 3 times?
What wrestler? No, he's won the title 15 times.
Then what's this 3 bullshit?
He's on the verge of being the greatest champion of all time. If he wins one more title, he ends up being the greatest of all time. That's why they brought him back. And he's an idiot.
They're going to let him win.
I know.
You know the outcome.
I know.
It's for a foregone conclusion.
The lime green and the yellow stuff. God. And what wrestler wears a baseball hat? What wrestler wears a Roman Reigns comes out. The man looks like he wants to kill somebody.
Oh,
and John Cena's gonna go. I got 3 fingers. Woo! I was in Fast and Furious 9. Woo! God, I want to punch him in the face. I might actually go after him because I think deep down is a pussy. I think he is. Now Roman Reigns, I'm not touching. Bobby Lashley, I'm not touching.
So you're saying Roman Reigns is kind of a throwback to Stone Cold?
Oh God, you can't compare the two because they're both badasses. Just the
intensity,
but yeah,
on the intensity level,
right. Now there were 2 titles that changed hands. Charlotte Flair, the Queen, Ric Flair's daughter, got her title back.
Good for her.
Beating up on Rhea Ripley, who's just God. They brought her in from NXT, and she's just not appealing. Sorry, I do want my female wrestlers to be hot. And Rhea Ripley looks like a lesbian, so I just...
Oh, she looks like the Great Moolah?
She's just not... She's got the buzz cut, so, no hair, wears leather, just...
And not in a good way.
No. So Charlotte Flair got her title back, and then the Usos got the tag team title, the SmackDown title back from Rey Mysterio and his kid, who couldn't wrestle. I can wrestle better than Rey Mysterio's kid, Dominic. But they pushed that. Oh my God, the first father-son
Blah,
tag
blah,
team
blah, blah,
ever.
blah,
Thank
blah,
God
blah.
they lost it quickly. Oh, all right. Time for movie reviews. Gunpowder Milkshake was our review for this week.
Yes, it was.
I want the conquistador to weigh in first.
I will say this one was kind of a combination female, John Wick, Sin City, with almost a touch of a Lebowski vibe.
Oh, yeah, the bowling.
If that
You had
makes-
the bowling.
And just kind of the quirky, it had that quirky Coen Brothers feel to it.
Yep.
Even though it was not.
Right.
So I kind of enjoyed it. Great cast. But come on. How do you kill off our favorite actress?
I know. Carla Gugino.
Carla Gugino. And it was such a small bit role for her.
She was probably the most innocent of all the characters. She was the one that seemed like she was just happy to have the whole clan back together.
Everybody back together. Yeah. And
it was great to have a kid back in the library.
Yeah. She was just that sweet, innocent librarian.
And plus, she's so good looking and
so hot.
Yes. She has war and she has peace, and they are magnificent.
Yes, they are. But with Carrie and Jillian, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino, Angela Bassett, Paul Giamatti, Michelle Yeoh, great cast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just quirky enough to be fun. Ultra good violent scenes. Great fight scenes in the hospital. So I kind of enjoyed
the
this
hospital
one.
was probably the best fight scene. We're not going to spoil anything for anybody.
We are not.
But if you get to the point where Karen Gillan is having to fight for her life against 3
boneheads.
Yeah, the boneheads. Guys trying to kill her.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's very fun. Now, the story overall, it wasn't spectacular. It was a good thrill ride. It was entertaining.
Nothing original. Yeah.
No. So I would give it 2.5.
Okay. I will bump it up a little bit higher. I'll go 3. I will give it 3 frenzies. I was forced to watch it twice. I don't mean to make that sound bad. It was enjoyable to watch twice, and I did enjoy it. Like I said, 3 frenzies for me. I agree with everything Dave said. There's something about Karen Gillan that just, I don't know. I know she doesn't have she's got like a 12-year-old boy's body, but she's just awesome to me.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. She was great in this movie. She's nasty. She was hardcore. She played it perfectly.
In everything she's done from this back to the Jumanjis, back to when she was in Doctor Who as Amy Pond.
When I was watching it with a couple friends of mine the second time, and I mentioned that to them about Jumanji, and I said, how the hell, in Gunpowder Milkshake, she's wearing the bowling jacket, and she's flat. Let's be honest, she's flat as a board. And I said, how the hell in Jumanji, in those commercials in the movies, she's got these pretty awesome looking boobs. Buddy of mine goes, yeah, what are gel packs? Dude, deal with it. That's what they're doing. They're putting gel packs in there.
There you go.
But, I mean, she's just awesome. Lena Headey, much, much better than I've seen her in a long time, and she looks great.
Yeah,
looks great.
I was impressed with. I wasn't expecting much from her, but she did a really nice job.
I will make a criticism, and you can criticize my criticism if you want, because you are the expert on guns. Okay. But in the final shootout, and we're not giving anything away, if you can't figure out there's at some point going to be a final shootout, that's on you. Michelle Yeoh doesn't look like she could hold a gun to save her life. She looks like, I mean, she's holding the guns like they're popsicles.
Yeah, that's...
The minute the gun you get a backfire or a recoil, it's going to hit her in the face the way she's holding the guns.
It's a movie. Suspend disbelief.
I know. Now, Lena Headey, she's got a shotgun. She looked like she knew what she was doing. Angela Bassett, same thing.
She's just a badass to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
but minor criticisms. Paul Giamatti in the role he has, very happy, impressed.
Yep. I have not been disappointed from anything he's done.
He's a good actor. He is one of those actors that doesn't get the credit he deserves.
No, he does not. Whatever role he gets, he nails it.
Mm-hmm.
So
he plays the schlub, but he plays the schlub in such a way that he's always smarter than you.
Yeah, he's the smart schlub who should fail but does not. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it absolutely does. And I have not watched Billions on Showtime, but I hear that's kind of the role he plays.
Yeah. See, now we loved him in the now canceled Lodge 49.
Yes. Well, that was his baby. He produced that.
Yeah. And it's so sad that we did not get the third season.
And of course, his claim to fame, the movie that really pushed him forward was Sideways.
Yeah.
With Thomas Hayden Church from Wings.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
With the sultry Virginia Madsen.
I'm going to save my review for The Magician for the third segment because I've got some other things
there you go.
I want to run by you. I need more time than we've got left to review that. So I have good news for you. Great news for you. Great news for us.
Yes.
The worldwide rights to Clerks 3 have been sold to Lionsgate. The production starts next month.
Yes!
We will get Clerks 3.
Clerks 3. But still no Mallrats 2.
But like I said, this will be the storyline we talked about, where Randall has a heart attack. Just like Kevin Smith in real life. And now Randall will take a film crew back in to the Quick Stop.
To where it all began.
Right. To film a retrospective on his life, basically.
His life flashes before his eyes.
All I care is we're getting Clerks 3 finally.
And we're not even supposed to be here today.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
That's going to be phenomenal.
Cannot wait.
And we're taking it back.
Oh, no, we're not going there. I'm going to go to books for a second. I'm going to combine, as we wrap up our second segment here, books and TV. Do you know who Grady Hendrix is? Mr. Bookmeister. The librarian.
Sounds familiar.
Grady Hendrix
Isn't that
kind
Sanford's
of like the
best friend?
No, Grady Hendrix is kind of the new age. He's kind of the new age Chuck Palahniuk. He's putting out horror books with a very twisted sense of humor.
Okay.
Horror Store. Do you know Horror Store?
I have not seen that one.
My Best Friend's Exorcism.
I've heard of that one.
Okay. So Grady Hendrix is finally picking up a lot of steam with these books. People are realizing how good they are, the potential. So Horror Store is in production. My Best Friend's Exorcism is in production. And his latest book, which just came out last week, The Final Girl Support Group. And it is what you think it is.
And there we go.
That is a brilliant idea. That is absolutely a brilliant idea. All the women who survived all the horror flicks
flicks.
from the 80s
Have
getting
a
together,
support group
yes,
to discuss
how they got through their trials and tribulations. That is coming to HBO Max.
That could be very
Charlize
interesting.
Theron might be starring in it. She is producing, might star.
Interesting.
So, I have Horror Store. I have My Best Friend's Exorcism. I'm going to start reading them at some point.
Next year.
Yeah, of course, given the fact I only read 6 books a year.
It could be a while, kids.
But I'm telling you, from what I've seen, this guy is very creative, very smart.
Early Chuck Palahniuk, because the later stuff is kind of tailed off.
We could do an entire episode on Chuck.
Yeah.
Because we've read most of his stuff.
I have not read the last 3 because the one
I've got Adjustment Day is actually sitting over the Conquistador's shoulder, and I got through 50 pages, and I have never finished it because it was just so, couldn't get into it. That being said, one segment left, dumbasses. We might play. I think we're going to play.
Dumbass or not?
I will give your Uncle Dave a dumbass or not segment.
Yes, we love dumbass or not.
But before that, we are going to review a very special movie, The Magician. We are going to talk about a movie that tears both of our hearts apart.
You're going to kill me with this because I do not have access to see this one.
We'll discuss, come back, have some fun.
In a world of politically correct sports coverage, 2 individuals stand alone as the last bastion of sanity. The Maestro and the Conquistador star in Sports Frenzy 2.0, the podcast.
Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. Hey everybody, welcome back. The final segment of the weekend edition, Sports Frenzy 2.0, taping on the 21st of July. This will hit on the 24th. I'm the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
If you listened to last week's episode, you know Dave and I we're in mourning.
We're in mourning over the series finale of Mr. In Between after only 3 seasons.
Yes. I did not do any research. I did not look to see what the idiotic reason was for why they ended this. Now, if Scott Ryan had some reason why he wanted to end this, fine. I would hate to think it was because of anything involving ratings, because I had heard nothing but positive vibes. People were watching. It was talking about
traction,
it. Right.
Big time.
Now, the interesting thing about this is when I went and Googled the final episode of Mr. In Between, the night it aired, up popped The Magician. And I'm like, what the hell? They refer to Ray Shoesmith, the main character in Mr. In Between, played by Scott Ryan, as the magician once. About halfway through season 3.
Yes.
And it turns out there is a prequel, a low-budget prequel from 2005 called The Magician, featuring the same character, the same actor. So, of course, me being the dumbass that I am, I had to immediately go on Amazon and buy it. Now, I'm not saying it's not a bad movie. It's actually a pretty cool movie, but I had to have it. I had to have the origin story. I had to have the completest, the whole thing. So The Magician, same character, like I said, same actor, very odd, different type of setup. He's got somebody filming his life, doing a documentary about him. So in that sense, it's a little different, even though you still kind of get that kind of camera angle, that viewpoint when you watch Mr. In Between. You do kind of feel like you're right there with him. So that didn't shock me so much. Initially, when I started watching it, I told the Conquistador it was black and white. It's not black and white, but it's a very muted in terms of color. There's not a lot of color in this. It's very earth tony, browns,
sepia.
Yeah. Not a very colorful movie in that respect.
So they were going for more.
It felt like Blair Witch, instead of following ghosts and following otherworldly presences and demons, it felt like a Blair Witch following a hitman.
There you go.
Okay, so none of this should shock anybody who's watched Mr. In Between. Here's the part where I'm going to be very careful about my review. I'm going to give it 2.5 frenzies, because it does a very nice job of showing us Ray Shoesmith. It's the problem I have with it's not a prequel. I don't know what to call it.
It's quite a very
odd. It's not an origin. It is not an origin story. That definitely I can say. It is not. It is almost.
It was a movie that they wound up basing a series off of.
If it wasn't for a couple things, you could almost say this movie was the direct prequel to the start of Mr. In Between, except number one, you have the 15-year age difference between when this was made versus when he comes back as Mr. In Between. So it's kind of a shock to see him so young versus a little bit older.
Yeah.
Here's the part I really have trouble with. The part I really have to form my words very carefully. It does not fit into the Mr. In Between timeline. I don't know how to say it more than that without spoiling things. It kind of threw me for a loop a little bit.
Things that happen in the movie versus what happened in the show.
Yeah. Again,
maybe
the character is consistent. Ray is consistent. What you see in Mr. In Between is pretty much what you get in The Magician. But, I mean, he admits he's got a wife, or he used to. He admits he has a daughter. So those things kind of line up. This is really tough.
Of the time gap.
There are two parallel storylines that go on in The Magician. That's the thing. It's really tricky to review it because they do a great job.
So he's almost Mr. In Between in The Magician.
Right. You get those two sides of him, even though in the show they bring his family life in. They bring his daughter in to show you he's not the cold asshole you might think he is as a hitman.
It's a job.
Right. This shows him more as the hitman who can be cold and merciless or be merciful.
Yeah.
But there's a third element that comes in that really screws things up at the end. So I am going to recommend The Conquistador. Spend $1 and rent this on Amazon Prime. to get closure
Okay.
and figure out
what exactly you're trying to express.
you need to watch this. You
Okay.
do. Now, will you be satisfied? Will you be happy? No. Will you be intrigued? Will you go, that's interesting. For $1, yes, you should do it.
All right.
So again, 2.5 frenzies for the magician. If you have not watched Mr. In Between,
That's a 4, baby.
yeah, we've said that. We said that last week. The entire 3 seasons of Mr. In Between, 4 frenzies. Go out and watch it right now. If you like that, just like I'm telling Dave, after you watch those, if you love the character, if you love the storyline, go back, spend $1, rent The Magician to get a little bit more of the backstory and some other weird twisted shit.
There you go.
All right. It is time to talk about our moments of silence. And we have a lot this week, and it's all in music. I'm telling you, this is a very, very bad week for 80s rock. This has been a terrible week for 80s rock, especially Cinderella.
Yeah.
One of our favorite bands from the 80s.
Yep. Jeff LaBar, Cinderella guitarist, passed away. Oh, too damn young. Was he 58?
Yeah. And I didn't realize his son plays in Tantric, I believe. Yeah.
I read that. I was kind of surprised on that.
It's so, I love that. I love that rock gene, that rock vibe gets passed down.
Yeah. And in Nothing But a Good Time, LaBar is one of the guys they've interviewed. And he's got a lot of information that he passes on. And having just finished that book and hearing this news, it really hit home bad.
Yeah, but you and I have talked about this, and this is the reason why you're trying to get your boys out, and they're more than willing to. They're realizing these guys are going to die and die soon.
Yeah. It's
lifestyles they lived, the age they're at, you got to go see them now, because
see them when you can.
5 years from now, they're not going to be around.
A year from now.
So, and on top of the fact that Jeff LaBar passed, their touring keyboardist, Gary Corbett, passed as well.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So, again, very bad week for Cinderella. Very bad week.
Yeah.
And Dave and I have seen them, fortunately, a couple times.
Yes.
But they were wrapped up in a terrible record deal.
Yeah.
That at times kept them from
from
being able to record together.
Yeah, that's just some weird, bizarre crap.
Right.
So, Heartbreak Station, phenomenal album.
The thing is
that kind of broke from what the whole hair metal thing was. It was almost put them ahead of their time.
Yeah.
It was different, but it was phenomenal.
Yeah, and the sad thing is they only put out 4 albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, Night Songs, Long Cold Winter,
Heartbreak Station,
and Still Climbing. Yep, 4 albums. 4 phenomenal albums.
Yes, and I will have to say, I think I liked Long Cold Winter and then Heartbreak Station.
Yeah, see, I go Night Songs. I just got to have the old 80s.
Yeah.
Mindless. When Jeff LaBar passed, and of course I'm not going to give any credit to any of the major media outlets, but because they don't know anything about music like we do. Of course, they said the signature song for Cinderella was "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone." I'm like, that is the worst song.
No.
That's why I don't put Long Cold Winter #1, is because that song ruined that album for me.
See, that gave us Bad Seamstress Blues.
I know. I love that. You know I love that.
And Gypsy Road.
I know. But Don't Know What You Got ruined that album.
Ruined it.
Whereas Night Songs never had a weak moment in it. No ballads.
No
No ballads.
But it was the ballads at the time that put
I will
everybody
agree with
over.
you. I will agree with you that the high points on Long Cold Winter were better than the high points on Night Songs.
But you can't
the
get
low
past
points,
the low point.
I did not see low points on Night Songs. So we'll agree to disagree on that.
There
but
you go. But we
can
both agree
Heartbreak
Station was phenomenal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All 4 albums.
Yeah.
Love all 4. I will never disparage Cinderella. Never. Fantastic band. Underrated band.
Great songwriting.
Tom Kiefer, awesome voice.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. We were supposed to see him a couple years ago, canceled out, not because of COVID, but because probably his voice was shot and he couldn't sing. I don't know how he made it as long as he did with that voice.
Actually, it's explained in the book. You probably haven't gotten there yet.
Would you stop doing that to me? Jesus God! Man.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. So, I'm not into rap. I don't care about rap. But even I know this is a big name in rap.
Diabolical Biz Markie.
Biz Markie died.
You got what I need.
Yeah, see.
You say he's just a friend.
Yeah, just a friend. That's great. I'm glad you know it. I'm glad you like it. I don't care. But I know from working in retail in the music industry in the late 80s, I know Biz Markie, Yeah. So
he kind of goofed on himself, took it lighthearted, and he had fun with it.
Right.
As what it was.
Right. So that's why I want to bring him up, is that I know he was a part of the music landscape when I was coming through it young.
Yeah.
In the 80s and early 90s. So, I will acknowledge, as much as my daughter hates me for not wanting to like her music, I will acknowledge the early rap artists before things went straight to hell.
Yeah.
So like Tone Loc, Biz Markie.
The one-hit wonders that are the Beastie Boys. That's what everybody called them when they first came out.
I was going to say, man, what are you talking about?
When
the Beasties are awesome.
When License to Ill first came out with Fight for Your Right, everybody
said
because
that wasn't a rap song.
No, but everybody said they were going to be a one-hit wonder.
Sabotage.
Intergalactic.
We will not ever on Sports Frenzy disparage the Beastie Boys.
No. All right, moving on.
Kansas
loses
violinist, background vocalist Robbie Steinhardt, one of the original founding members.
Yes. God. And we're talking about going to see them.
Yes. Robbie dropped out of the band in 2006, but the violin on Dust in the Wind.
It's phenomenal.
This is a big one. People don't realize
Kansas.
Without him, again, you can put in another violinist to do the part on Dust in the Wind, but it is not Dust in the Wind.
No,
it is not the original. He was the original guy on Dust in the Wind, playing the violin.
That violin made that song.
Right.
What it was.
So this is a big one to me. This would be like Ian Anderson with Jethro Tull dying, with the flute.
Yeah.
Well,
it was.
And
it was the big man from the East Street.
Clarence Clemens with
great
comparison. Great comparison, Dave. Fantastic. Yes, it's like the big man in the E Street Band. You never want to give them that top tier acknowledgement because the instrument they played wasn't necessarily up front in the songs, but it always made the songs, the big songs, the hit songs better.
Yes.
Great call. Now, I am going to pull one out here that might puzzle people, but I grew up in the 80s again with MTV. Martin Cahan, very famous video director, passed away this week. He directed the video for Lick It Up, the first video where Kiss appeared without their makeup. He also directed Bon Jovi's In and Out of Love. He did videos for Loverboy, The Firm, and Motley Crue. So thoughts and prayers to him and his family.
Yep. We're going to go animated here. Jerry Granelli was the drummer for the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Wow.
Has passed away. I wanted to go a little off kilter. So he also played on the Grammy winning You Were on My Mind by the Wee Five. So kind of a lesser known, but you know, they did win a Grammy there for that one. So So now next time you see a Charlie Brown Christmas, when you hear the drums kick in for all the music, you can think of Mr. Granelli.
Okay, Dave, are you ready to play the weekend edition of Dumbass or Not?
Yes, let's play.
To wrap up this week's stellar, outstanding episode. Just a couple.
Just a couple.
I think the first one.
It's obvious.
Well, considering who it is. I want you to not look at who's involved, but the topic involved, okay?
Suspend my disbelief.
Eric Clapton.
Douchebag.
Eric Clapton has decided to not perform in England if the venue will require people to show proof of vaccination. So, I am torn on this because I am not a big fan of forcing people to do things. I have got my shot. You've got your shot. But should an artist, I use that term loosely with Eric. You and I both know, yeah. But should an artist have that kind of power to say, you won't be able to book me unless you let everybody in, no matter what their vaccination status is? See, this is a tough one.
Ooh,
See, I got you on this. This is a tough one. Dumbass or Not is working this week, kids.
Oh, I hate this one.
See, because you kind of went back and forth, didn't you? Didn't you for a while?
I do not think you should have to show proof.
Okay.
So I will say not.
All right. So you, as much as we hate Eric Clapton.
As much as I hate Eric Clapton, I think everybody needs to get vaccinated, but I don't think you should have to show proof.
Nice. I like it. I'm not saying I agree with Dave, but I like the fact that he went through this, processed this, and went against one of his mortal enemies.
It's killing me because I hate Clapton. May he die of gonorrhea and rot in hell.
All right. I was debating whether to do this one in the normal Sports Frenzy episode or the weekend edition, but I figured probably better suited for the weekend edition. So, Sports Illustrated.
Oh.
The swimsuit edition is coming out, and they have decided to really, really go PC. Unbelievably go PC. So I'm trying to figure out, I think I'm going to let you judge this on 3
I
points.
do not want any transgenders in my freaking bikini.
So can you wait? I haven't gotten there yet. That's coming. There are 3 cover models. I was going to let you judge each of them. You jumped the gun. You went to 3. Wait until I get to 3, then you can do that. Number 1, the overweight rap star Megan Thee Stallion.
Not a fan.
She's probably the most attractive of the 3.
Probably is.
Even though she's a little bit chunky.
You know,
but the thing is, her music is so offensive and so stupid.
But you have to. All right. Taking the bad music, the music I do not care for out of the equation, I do like acknowledging the full-figured women.
Oh my God, you and I are going to have problems with this. Oh my God. Okay.
But not in the skimpiest ass things available. Just because you fit in it doesn't mean you should wear it.
So would you say putting her on the cover is dumbass or not?
I don't think she should be on the cover.
Okay. Like I said, of the ones we're going to talk about, she's probably the most attractive. So I'm going to say no, dumbass. Here's my pet peeve, number 2. We've talked about her for weeks and weeks. Naomi Osaka, the tennis player who said, I can't handle the pressure of being interviewed. I can't handle the pressure of being in the media spotlight. Yet somehow she ends up on Netflix on a documentary, and now she's going to be one of the cover models for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition.
This is dumbass.
This is bullshit.
This is dumbass material.
This is beyond dumbass. This is bullshit dumbass.
This is bullshit.
She
crap.
is playing everybody.
Yeah.
She's playing everybody.
Yeah.
I'm such a tragic figure. You need to
No.
love me, pay attention to me.
The hell
but
with
don't.
you. The hell with you. You have no business being anywhere.
And the thing is, you see the picture? She doesn't even have a figure to pull off a swimsuit. That's the worst part to me. She's not even close to being an attractive swimsuit model, but she's pulling this contradictory, hypocritical bullshit. She's playing everybody.
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka, I'm done.
Good.
You take your pity party and your I can't handle the media crap and stick it up your ass.
We tried to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, we did.
We tried to give you the benefit of the doubt.
We want people to have mental health access. We want people to have.
But you do not get to have it both ways.
Yeah, you can't pull this crap and then say, oh, poor pitiful me. I can't handle the pressure of the public spotlight.
And then pull this shit. No, bye-bye.
Yeah, you are a dumbass.
Yes, you are.
And now we get to Dave's favorite.
No.
The third of the 3 SI 2021 cover models is the first transgender model of color ever.
No. Done. Bye-bye.
Now, I agree, by the way. Inside, who did not make the cover, is the first Asian curve model ever, which you said, now you have said, you just said, oh, I don't mind the fat women.
I give them their due.
No. This is supposed to be focusing on beauty. I'm sorry. Fat people are not beautiful. They are not. Yes, the maestro said that. The maestro's an asshole. I want beautiful people to be my movie stars, my swimsuit edition models. I don't want fat people. I look at the Target ad, and all of a sudden, all I see is fat people. I don't want that.
We've gone.
I'd go to
Walmart
Walmart and shop at Walmart if I want to see that. We want to be taken away from everyday life. We want beauty. We want to see beauty and perfection and gorgeous women and men. Women want to see gorgeous men. Chippendales. Why the hell is it so wrong to say that? Sorry, I don't want to see a big fat tub of goo in a swimsuit.
The Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition is all about the fantasy.
Yes! So why are they ruining the fantasy? That's what they're doing. Because of political correctness. They have ruined it. I'm tired of this hypocritical bullshit with Hollywood and everybody saying we're not allowed to like beautiful people. That's the only reason. The only reason I give a shit about Scarlett Johansson, the only reason I give a shit about Charlize Theron is because they're good looking. Otherwise, why do I give a rat's ass what they think, what they eat, what they smoke, what they drink? I don't care. Just show me your goddamn legs, your butt, your boobs, your beautiful face. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a 300-pound tub of goo, a big fat lard ass shoved into a goddamn bikini, especially one that's got a dick or used to have a dick.
Just because you can fit into it doesn't mean you should.
That being said,
good night, kid.
I'm Kevin the Maestro.
I'm Dave the Conquistador, the sane one of the group.
You go look at Megan the Stallion and her big fat fleshy boobs that she would lose if she actually frickin' went on a diet. We'll check you out next week.
Stay tuned.
We love you. See ya. Bye-bye.